Hey everybody on YouTube, it's me back in Massachusetts. Welcome to my new yoga mat. I have let me see if I can, a jade, well that's upside down, but a jade yoga mat. I finally broke down and got one of the more expensive mats, but I kind of used it as an incentive for me to stay with my practice because it really is the best type of meditation and physical exercise that I can get in the winter in Massachusetts when it's, 15 degrees outside and snowing. It's one of those kind of hippie mats. It's made of rubber, so, it has a really good sticky tactile surface, so I won't slip like I used to on my other mat. It's responsibly sourced rubber. It does have that slightly rubber smell, but according to the label, that smell will dissipate with time. So I just did yoga for the first time since before Christmas break for me. And I had this plan to stick with it when I flew back to Georgia to spend Christmas and the holidays with my husband, and with my parents, but that just fell by the wayside. So this yoga talk kind of leads me into my tarot card for the year, hence the title of this video, and I hope I don't get either a lot of Christians or Satanists who are looking up on YouTube videos about the devil. They might run across this video and they'll either be surprised or disappointed. But anyway, I did Kelly-Ann Maddox's How to Find Your Tarot Card of the Year, and I know she used a method that she found in a book by a different author, and I can't remember the original author of this method, but basically what you do to find your tarot card of the year is you take your birth date, so the day and the month, you add all those numbers together, then you add that total to the year 2016, and then you add each number and that total together. So for example, my birthday is December 21st, so 12 plus 21 is 33. You add 33 to 2016, and that's 2049. And then the 2, 0, the 4, and the 9 in 2049, you add all that together. So the card I got for this year is, dun dun dun, the devil. And when I first got this card, I was like, oh great. And that's when I realized, shit, this is telling me something about these negative thought cycles. Like, oh great, my life is so terrible. Nothing ever works out. Meh, meh, meh. Like, this card, first of all, for 2016, is telling me this is the year for me to stop my bitching and to be more appreciative of what I do have and the things that I do have going for me, which are a lot. It's, the devil is about, as Kelly-Ann mentioned in her video, shadow work. Looking really deep within yourself in those dark cracks and crevices that maybe parts of our ego don't want to face. And really analyzing what's the shit that we have going on for us that's good, and what do we need to really analyze and potentially get rid of. For me, it's negative thought cycles, which might, especially in my magical workings, turn into self-sabotage, because if you don't have confidence when you're doing a magical working and you're going into it with doubt and fear, that's kind of a form of self-sabotage. Bitching and complaining a lot. And even doubt and fear about like my personal relationships, about the decisions I'm making, and just a lot of that has to do with fearing the unknown or the unpredictability of life, but also just fearing my own abilities and not having confidence in myself. There's also a lot of doubt and fear having to do with, well, not a lot, but enough doubt and fear having to do with my decision to move to Massachusetts and leave my husband in Georgia. Because we've spent the majority of the first almost 2 years of marriage apart. He lives in Georgia during the academic year. I live in Massachusetts during the academic year. And he has supported me. He supports my career goals, which is, why I'm up here. But I just have this fear that he's gonna one day decide this isn't worth it. Fuck it, I'm moving back to Chile. Which is completely irrational. So just those kinds of doubts and fears about decisions I've made that affect him. So this process of shadow work actually started toward the end of last fall semester. I bought a lot of notebooks and I started writing. I was never much of a journaler before, but when I started learning more and more about shadow work, mostly through Kelly-Ann's videos, and I'll include the video about her tarot card of the year in the description below, and you should definitely check out her channel if you haven't already. It's a very popular channel, so chances are you already know who she is. But her videos on shadow work are intense, are full of so much information and resources, and just legit. So I have a natural kind of tendency towards introspection and reflection, which is good. So now I just need to hone it and really put it to practice. So since this card, the Devil, is my shadow work, kind of take off those chains that I put on myself kind of card for 2016, I'm thinking of actually creating a shadow work 2016 playlist for my channel. And every time I want to discuss my own personal journey through shadow work and what I'm doing for it and the different activities and spells and different reflections on shadow work, I'm going to put it in that playlist. And I want that playlist to both be, informational and also reflective for me and my viewers. But also it's going to hold me accountable. So I stick with it because my two main motivations for the shadow work process, it's, for myself and for my relationship with my husband, and I'll get to that in a second, but also my husband and I, we might start a family within the next 2 to 3 years. And so before I add someone to my life, like a child, I wanted to make sure that I have all my shit together, basically, all my ducks in a row. I want to be the best me that I can be. I want to be strong. I want to be stronger and confident, both emotionally, spiritually, but also physically. And this kind of leads me to kind of step 2 that I've added to Kelly-Ann's Find Your Tarot Card of the Year kind of process. I decided to add an extra step and find a complementary card. So the Devil is 15. That's the number I came up with. So if you add 1 plus 5, you get 6. So, and these are all the major arcana cards, by the way. Check out her video. She has a much better explanation of how to find your card than I do. So 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 is the Lovers. So that's my complementary card. So if this is a shadow work year, I want to specifically focus on relationships and balance, right? So relationships, it's not just, my relationships with friends and family, or my relationship with my partner. It's also my relationship with myself. And specifically, I think this is telling me my relationship with my physical body, because my diet has been really good for the past few years. I'm a relatively healthy person, but I lack physical strength. I have not had a regular workout routine since I was in college, and that's almost 6 years ago now. And I just really need to work on physical strength, and in addition to the shadow work, preparing me mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for the possibility of having children in the next few years, I need to prepare my body for that too. And you know, when you work on your body, you're also working on your spirit. You're also working on your emotions. Everything's interconnected. So yeah, so these two cards are going to be my focus for this year. And just in case you're curious, I did this for my husband, and his two cards were Death and the Emperor. So some major changes might be coming up, and I'm actually hopeful that this Death card means that maybe he might get his grant that he applied for in October. We won't find out until May. But if he gets the grant, then he can finish writing his dissertation from here, and we can finally live together as a fucking married couple. Also, this Death card, I mean, it's mostly for my husband, but a major change that is currently happening in my life, which involves him, is I have applied for a new apartment. I should find out later today if my... Sorry about that interruption. So that was my realtor letting me know that I actually got the apartment. So it's confirmed. My move-in date is February 1st, but my move-out date for the current place is February 28th. So my last month of rent here is already paid, so I can take my time. There's no hurry. And actually, probably the weekend of Valentine's Day, my husband will be flying in to help me do the whole move. So that's awesome. So anyway, so talking about death, it's, you know, endings and beginnings. So my time here at this current apartment is coming to a close. I've lived here since the end of August of 2014. It was my first place here up in Massachusetts, and I will miss it. I'll miss the huge windows and the natural light and my access to the creek outside where I've done some workings and rituals. But the new place I'm moving to is literally like across the street and half a block up the street. So I can just cross the street and come to the creek anytime I want to work at the creek. I got really, really lucky. It's a one-bedroom apartment. It has about 80 more square feet than my current place. It's within my budget. It has heat and hot water included, which is very important for a southerner who's moved to the great cold north. And a parking spot included, and it's only 50 cents to wash a load in the laundry and 75 cents to dry. Right now I'm paying $1.30 per load. I already know the area. I live right down the street from Stop and Shop. I live about a mile away from Trader Joe's. And hopefully in May, my husband will find out that he got the grant. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. And he'll be able to move up here and we can finally be together. So that might be, you know, some of the changes, the endings and beginnings that might be implicated in his card. But I think in order to get there, he needs the structure. He needs, as Kelly-Ann in her video mentioned when she gave a brief description of the Emperor, It's a time to sit down and fully own your seat of power, but also to get shit done. He's collecting his data for his dissertation right now, and he needs to be in Georgia to do that. Once he has his data and he can start analyzing it, then he can, finish writing the dissertation from anywhere. So we both feel pretty good and positive about his chances of getting this this grant, but I started doing magical workings when he applied in October. I have a little altar in the corner there dedicated to that, and I'm going to continue doing whatever I can. So shadow work for me. So to hold myself accountable, I'm going to make that shadow work playlist, and this will be probably the first video I put in there. A couple of video ideas I have right off the top of my head that I'm going to make in the next few weeks. One has to do with shadow work and how that relates to recognizing privilege, which is not something I've seen being discussed yet. To my knowledge, not many people have talked about this. So when I talk about privilege, I'm talking about racial privilege or gender privilege or sexual identity or orientation, gender identity privilege. For example, I am a white cisgendered woman who is in a heterosexual relationship, and I'm able-bodied. I don't have any disabilities. I don't have any chronic conditions. I am highly educated. So, what are the privileges that all of those attributes give me in the current society that we live in? But what are some of the lack of privileges I have? For example, I come from a working class background in rural Kentucky. So I'm a first generation college student in my family. So all of us navigate these either privileges or lack of privileges. And I know the utopian ideal is that we're all equal, but unfortunately we live in a society where racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, classism are very real things with very real implications in many people's lives. So I want to kind of connect that with shadow work. And another video that I want to make, which is also inspired by a recent video done by Kelly-Ann Maddox, has to do with stationery and paper. Papyrophilia. So as I've kind of began this journey of shadow work toward the end of last fall semester, I discovered the power of writing. Writing shit down, whether it's, bad dreams or recurring dreams or bad cycles of thoughts and doubts and fears. Writing it down, it not only externalizes it and puts it in more of an objective space where you can return to it later and analyze it from a more objective perspective, though not purely objective. I mean, you're still going through your... Anyway, but also, as witches, as we know, writing things down is very powerful and it manifests things. So, that's why we write in our spell books. So I've been handwriting a lot more than I used to since I started identifying as a witch. So, and writing is just, I feel, integral to shadow work because it fosters self-reflection. So I want to kind of make a little video about all the different notebooks that I have since been working with, ranging from my book of shadows to journals to creative writing, just all sorts of things. So I want to make a video about that. So right now, this video plus I have 2 in my mind. And as I continue on this kind of shadow work journey, and building that relationship with myself, with my body, I will put all these videos into the shadow work playlist for 2016. So I'm really excited. I just rolled out of bed and did yoga, so this is my glorious morning self. But yeah, I'm really excited, and I got the apartment, yay! So I'll be moving soon. So another few videos that I want to make. Sorry, this is really rambly toward the end. How to kind of close a magical space and then how to establish a new one, because I've done so many like workings and rituals in this apartment and also at the creek right outside my window. So I kind of have to, like, I don't know what the right word is, to close it, to shut it down, to put it to sleep, you know, to kind of say goodbye to this apartment. And then I have to cleanse, bless, and establish my new apartment as a magical protective space. So I'll have access to that new apartment February 1st, and the new moon is February 9th, which will be right before my husband flies up to help me move all my shit. And the new moon is a perfect time to kind of plant the seed for, you know, things that you want to come into fruition. So I'm planning on actually having a working that night at the new place to kind of wake it up and establish myself there. So I'll be talking about that stuff too. Okay, I hope everybody has a wonderful, what day is today? I don't even know. The 19th of January. Tuesday? My classes start on the 25th, on Monday. And I'm going to be moving soon. And working on that shadow work, man. Getting down and dirty. So, bye!